Hey guys, welcome to Two Dudes Talking. I'm DJ, that's Dustin.
What's up?
Today we are doing top 5 holiday movies. Five. Let's get into it. My number 5. You're gonna think it's funny, but I think it's an awesome, super fun movie that you can watch with your significant other. Love Actually. Hugh Grant
Really?
Hugh Grant in his very likely role as the kind of doting, good looking, kind of stumbles across things and just kind of lands on his feet. But it's the story of several couples and all the things that connect them, which is love. It's just, look, if you like those, I haven't met many people who don't like British comedies. I think this is the perfect example of a British comedy. And it's just, to me, it's just a really good movie. Definitely worth a watch. What about you? What's your number 5?
So I'm going with something very different that most people wouldn't think of. The movie was advertised as being a Christmas movie originally, but then when people saw it in theaters, they realized it was not. You know what I'm going at? Gremlins.
I agree with you. I think it's a Christmas movie.
I mean, first of all, it was highly entertaining. The rules: don't feed them after midnight, don't get them wet. Gizmo was amazing.
Everybody wanted a Gizmo when they were a kid too. Everybody wanted a Gizmo for Christmas.
Right here, wanted Gizmo, still do. Never got one, but I just love the fact that it was advertised as this like holiday movie. If you go back and watch the original previews, and then what it is, I mean, yes, there's holiday elements, but what the movie is not really that. So I just love that they did that.
I mean, I'm going to suspect through our list, we will have a couple that are debatable that way, that because they happen at Christmas doesn't make it a Christmas movie. But I think that there are elements of every movie that will tell you the theme of it. So it's not necessarily because it was at Christmas, but that it has some sort of theme, the joy, the heartache, Christmas, things that people happen to
that
people
took place during
right?
and around the holidays. So they were correct in the sense of the time of year was Christmas, but the movie itself was
I feel like I can only watch that movie during Christmas.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Don't watch the sequels though, just avoid those.
Yeah.
Just the
My number
one.
4 is a very traditional one, and one that many people have seen probably 1,000 times, but it's National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Oh god, yeah, totally great movie.
That's got everything that you could want in a Christmas movie. It has the Griswolds. It has the the guy that's trying to beat his neighbors out in Christmas lights, like this guy here. Where you put way too many lights on your house, and you have the whole the whole what am I going to try to say, the whole oh, dang, I can't think of the word. The whole unveiling of it, right? Like, look at this, and you're like, oh. But I mean, and then it's got the the in-laws and the family that you didn't think were gonna shows up, right? He doesn't get his Christmas bonus and kidnaps his boss. There's all this really cool stuff that I feel like is so relatable and just so funny and so quintessential Chevy Chase. Where did you go on this one?
So, first of all, that's a great movie, and
yeah,
I can't argue with it. It's so entertaining, the Griswolds, and it's fantastic. So I went very quintessential holiday movie on this one. So It's a Wonderful Life, which is a quintessential holiday movie. I mean, I think everybody's seen it once or twice. It's kind of hard to miss it. Apparently, my fiance just said she's never seen it, so we're going to correct that this holiday season.
What is it? Every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings.
Angel gets its wings, right? So I mean, it starts. If you've never seen it, it starts out quite dark. I don't want to give it away because it's kind of a very important character story arc. But then he progresses through the story and he learns a lot about who he is and what he wants to be. He grows as a person and realizes, oh my God, this is amazing, and it's a wonderful life is what he learns. But look, if you've never seen it, you should watch it. It's pretty much I think the first of its
one
kind in terms of that story, because it's from the 40s or 30s, whenever. So yeah.
I think many movies have used that movie as a template, right? Things start out very dark for the character, and then the story arc is he or she finds out that it's a wonderful life, right? Like the things that sadden you about this time also can be some of the brightest things that you don't really realize, right? Family, all of that stuff that's more important. So definitely, I
Yeah.
think the first of its kind. For number
Oh god, yeah.
three, I went with, this is a movie I feel I can watch year round. Bad Santa. Um,
Oh,
look, if you saw my top baseball movies, you know that I have a very, very,
soft
high
spot.
admiration
Much.
for one Billy Bob Thornton and his acting skills. And look, I mean, criminal who basically takes advantage of this kid who's constantly bullied and lives at his house, and um then he kind of finds another way of doing things, right? Like again, it's kind of the same model, right? Things are very dark for this character. He's going down a spiral, down a downward spiral, learns that things are good and people are good and Christmas is good, and he kind of revitalizes his life. And
Yeah,
I just think it's a fun movie. The late Bernie Mac. um, so
he
really,
is so
really, really
good.
fun. Yeah.
He was
Like I
so
said,
good.
I lived in Arizona, so just seeing some of the very Arizona things really kind of brought back some memories as well. So very, very fun. What is your Tress?
Look, this is where I struggle because there's a lot of movies you could choose from.
Uh-huh.
So my third is going to be Home Alone. It's a holiday movie. The kid gets left at home. These robbers try and break in, and all the shenanigans he has to go through in order to keep them at bay,
Uh-huh.
including, becoming or getting over his irrational fear of this guy down the street who just happens to be an older man, and he's just scared to death of him. And he kind of overcomes that, even though he's overcome all these other things already. So having that fear is just ridiculous. But
Yeah.
it's entertaining. When you're a kid and it came out, it's like, I want that. That's what I am. I'm that dude. I'm that inventive. So great, highly entertaining.
And the mom, who I guess was on Schitt's Creek,
God,
yeah, she just did you see it? She just did a on social media, on Instagram, she did a remake of that scene on
oh, I'm gonna have to look
Instagram.
that up.
It's super fun. I mean, she does a side by side. I think it was maybe it was TikTok, but she did it, and it was like, wow, that's super cool to see her, like 20, 30 plus
Yeah,
years later doing the same scene. um Really, really fun. But yeah, I
it's
agree with
great.
you.
If you
That's,
haven't seen it, you should.
I was tempted to pick that in my top five. I did not, but it's definitely a fun movie for all ages. um my number two is going to be argued as not a Christmas movie, and
Oh,
there are many reasons not to pick this movie, but it's one of my favorites of all time, which is One Lethal Weapon. Riggs, Murtaugh, I'm too
Murtaugh, too
old for
old for
this
this shit.
shit. Um,
That
Happens during the
Christmas?
Christmas. Look, it happens during the Christmas season. There is
God, it does.
there is many
Oh,
things that make this a Christmas movie. Um, Look, if you wanna say, they say at least Merry Christmas at least one time. There are carolers in the police station. That makes it a Christmas movie. There's carolers, and they're singing
you
Christmas
think?
songs. Um, it
Okay.
look,
I haven't
look,
honestly. I
and
didn't
it
know. I forgot it was a Christmas movie.
again, go back to It's a Wonderful Life, follows that same model. Riggs is going through a dark time, just lost his wife, wants to kill himself, gets hooked up with Murtaugh as a partner, sees
Murtaugh
the beautiful,
tries to kill himself
tries to kill himself
twice.
unsuccessfully, like, but
Twice.
but then, like I said, hooks up with Murtaugh, sees the love his family has, is accepted into their family, and he kind of sees that it's a wonderful life, right?
No,
Like,
that's
and
exactly what that is.
he comes out of it and comes out the other side. So, and also too, Murtaugh, who wants to retire, decides to stay on because
Yeah. Got to
Riggs
teach
has
this kid.
revitalized his
Yeah.
career, right? Like it's kind of like
Yeah.
made him come through with a love of
Yeah.
policing
I,
again, where he was just like, he goes from I'm too old for this shit to, I just want
I
to
got to
catch
mentor
bad
this
guys with
guy.
this.
Make sure he
Yeah, and I
doesn't
want
kill
to catch bad
himself.
guys with this guy, right?
Yeah.
I'm his big brother. So
Yeah. Great
definitely a
movie.
Christmas
I
movie
think
in
one of
my
the most
book.
underrated scenes in that movie is the whole thing with the dog biscuits with Riggs. Every time I see it, I die of laughter.
Have
He's
you
got the
ever eaten
box of
dog
dog biscuits.
biscuits?
He's just eating.
So after seeing that movie as a kid, I
Oh
actually
yeah,
tried
no,
one.
totally.
I tried a milk
Yep.
bone, and I'm like, it's kind of bland, but there's nothing to this. And
Yeah, it's a cracker.
yeah, and then for shock value, I did it a couple times in front of friends and in front of my mom, and everybody thought I was crazy. And I was like, yeah, I'm crazy like Riggs, you know. But yeah,
You jumping off of buildings into airbags with the dude handcuffed to you. Yeah.
he look, Riggs was definitely one of
America,
my pretend
get the
heroes.
get in here.
He
Oh
was
God, yeah.
definitely, yeah, I mean,
I
definitely
will say
definitely
all
a great
four of
one.
those movies are enjoyable. All of them.
Absolutely. And usually things get bad as you go to 2, 3, 4 plus,
Yeah.
right? Not this one. I think that they
Oh,
find new
so
ways of
good.
telling the story on and on and on and on. And also too, Riggs lived on the beach, which
Yeah.
looked like around Dockweiler in that area. I remember seeing the area and I'm like, oh my God, this is where they filmed the camper on the beach. This is amazing, right? And
Well, until four, but yeah.
yes, absolutely. But look, I mean, I wanted that whole thing. I never accomplished having a trailer on the beach, but
I know you
definitely a lot of
can't, but okay.
California dreaming after
Yeah,
that
for
movie.
sure.
What about you? What's
Great
your
movie.
number two?
Scrooged with Bill Murray.
Nice
It's a
pick.
hilarious comedy. It's a Christmas Carol story. It's Bill Murray at his finest acting. I don't know if it was ad libbed or not, or if it was scripted, but some of the
Mm-hmm.
lines in his delivery, I have to hit pause almost because I'm dying and rolling on the floor of laughter.
And it's Bill
Um,
Murray, right? Like,
I don't know what else there is to say. It's Bill Murray.
yeah.
Like,
I mean, Scrooged. I mean, it's also a
classic
retelling of it
Christmas Carol.
of a Christmas Carol, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, I
It's a
look, I think
1980s retelling of a Christmas Carol.
yeah. And I mean, I think it's one of those peak Bill Murray movies for sure, you know?
Oh yeah, it's definitely Bill Murray at the height of his powers.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, drum roll for number one. And this has been a grand debate over the last few years. I don't know who first brought the debate up. I've always felt this way. Always, always, always. Since I very first saw this movie, it has been a Christmas tradition in my house since the movie has come out, and it's Bruce Willis in Die Hard.
In Die Hard. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Every other reason I just said about Lethal Weapon applies to Die Hard.
So
Nakatomi
good.
Plaza, never forget. Look,
So
that is
good.
a Christmas movie. You can debate all you want, but it's got everything. It's got the Christmas party. It's got carolers. It's got all of it. It's an entertaining movie, and it wouldn't be Christmas without seeing that movie. I don't know anybody
Yeah,
who debates that
absolutely.
fact. I think when they debate it, it's more jokingly debating. But I
Hmm.
feel like a lot of people feel the same way I do. I've always, like I said, I've always felt ahead of the curve on this one because I've always thought of it as Christmas movie because I've always felt of the tradition of that of watching it during the time.
Look, I completely agree with you. That movie's fantastic. Truthfully, it was going to be my number one as well, but to be different, I will pick a different movie. So my number one is now going to be Trading Places. Takes place during the
Yes.
holidays, right? Nobody picks it
Yes.
as a Christmas movie or a holiday movie, but it totally is.
That movie would have
Complete
gone
fish.
in any of my top 5. And I knew that it was in your quiver and you were going to pull it out if we had a similar movie. Dude, I texted you this. When I donated all my DVDs and Blu-rays to the local library, I kept a handful of movies. That was one of them.
Oh, for sure.
Coming to
So good.
America and this were a couple of the DVDs that I decided to keep.
Feeling good, Lewis.
Yes. I mean, Don Amici, and
Oh, so good. Oh, the whole cast.
the whole cast is
Well, then they had
awesome.
the
But
reference to it in Coming to America, remember? Where he drops
yes,
all his money to the two homeless guys and he goes,
yeah,
Mortimer, we're back.
we're back. It's an awesome movie. I mean, again, Dan Aykroyd, um,
Murphy,
Eddie Murphy, and their
height of his
comic
powers yet again.
genius. I mean, you take those two atoms and fuse them together. Come on,
Oh,
that's a
shooting
nuclear
star, beyond.
explosion of comedy. And then Jamie Lee
You know what I've always
Curtis.
wanted? That's right. I forgot about that. You know what I've
Yeah.
always wondered about that movie, though? Because it was the two of those guys, those comedians at basically the height of their powers. How
Mhm.
many ad-lib lines do you think either hit the cutting room floor or that they left in? Because they were riffing on each other all day. Like you put
Yeah.
those guys on a stage and say, okay, action. They're going to be like, that line, we're just going to go.
Yeah. Absolutely. On top of that, you could not do this movie the way it was done today. You had
Oh, no.
Eddie Murphy pretending to be a homeless, crippled veteran, and you had Dan Aykroyd in blackface.
Yeah.
I mean, um,
Yeah.
and
The whole train scene would never fly.
no, and they were completely necessary to the movie. You couldn't take them out because you'd be losing something. And I think that
Oh, absolutely.
the woke 1% on Twitter would bash this movie today if it was coming out.
I don't even think it would get that far. I don't think there's a studio or independent that would even get through the entire script and go, yeah, we love it, let's do it. They would go, there's a lot that needs to come out. But again, it was
Yeah,
a different era. It was the 80s.
it was the 80s, but fun movie. There's
Oh, God, yeah.
this movie,
So entertaining.
you could watch it a million times. And
Bet you
I
$1
agree. I mean,
that there's
look,
somebody that's never seen it.
yeah, I mean, look, I know I picked Die Hard as my number one, but I mean, Trading Places is definitely a 1B for me.
Well, that's why I had the two in the bag. Is I'm like, whichever one he goes with, I'll go with the other one because
Yeah,
they're both amazing. You can't go wrong with either one.
you can't. You really can't. Look,
I had another one in
to
the quiver that I didn't go to, but I'll tell you later.
no, if you had to switch one out or swap one out, what would it be?
I probably would have put, I guess it fine instead of Gremlins. I would have gone with The Ref,
Ah, okay.
which nobody thinks is
Dennis
a holiday
Leary,
movie, but it was around the holidays, and
absolutely a holiday movie.
it's about a guy that breaks into somebody's house and basically discovers a marriage that is in shambles. And even though he's the robber, has to repair the marriage, or is repairing the marriage because he can't stand these two people and they're driving him crazy.
Hmm.
Hilarious. I mean, you got Dennis Leary, who is one of the funniest freaking guys ever. And, I mean, how can you go wrong? And he's a bad guy, which is even better.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I was gonna swap one in, what was that movie? Was it Holiday Party? Oh my
The one
goodness.
with
I'm
Office Holiday Party, you mean? The one with the Office Holiday Party where they were planning it?
yes, Office Holiday Party.
That might not be the title.
Um,
It might just be
let's see.
Holiday Party, truthfully.
Yeah, it's Office Christmas Party. Office
Oh, yeah, that's
Christmas
what it is.
Party.
2015.
I would have definitely added that with Jason Bateman, Jennifer Aniston, um,
Yeah.
Olivia
And,
Munn,
what's that guy? The guy from Deadpool, whose name I never remember. TJ something.
T.J. Miller.
Yeah.
Super underrated. I think is up there with the classics. I think if we would have went with 10, I definitely would have added that one. Um, but
Oh,
here
yeah.
I am not being able to
That's
name it.
entertaining.
I thought it was an entertaining movie, an
Yeah.
entertaining movie. But yeah, look, you can debate us all you want on these movies. I get the
Hmm.
debate. I get the fact that they weren't, the Santa Claus and.
If you're good at, oh, that's a good one.
But look, I mean, I understand if people were like, "That's not a traditional holiday movie," much
Miracle on
like
34th Street.
right. I totally get that, but that's not what a Christmas holiday movie is about. I feel like it's about following a certain character arc and also telling the story of of joy and happiness. And I feel like all of these movies in some way do that. And I also feel like for the vast majority of moviegoers, these are movies that do bring up Christmas vibes. They do for me.
Oh God, yeah.
I mean, every one of
Yeah,
them
well,
does for me.
yeah. Look, there's plenty of holiday movies. It really depends where you land. Do you want the like sweet family, wholesome holiday thing? You're probably going to go with It's a Wonderful Life. You're going to go with Miracle on 34th Street. You're definitely not going to go with Office Christmas Party. You're definitely
Right.
not going to go with Gremlins. You're not going to go with Scrooge. You're definitely not going with Die Hard. You're not going
Yeah.
with Lethal Weapon either, even though there's some lovely family moments with the Murtaughs in there. Which, by the way, in Lethal Weapon, did you ever kind of get creeped out by the whole his daughter's in love with Riggs?
No, because I thought it was cute. Like, I think in that moment I thought it was cute. When you start to dissect it, you're like, ew.
I thought okay, in
It's
one I
only
thought it was
ew
fine because
if he
like,
would have acted upon it. It's only
well, that's
ew
true.
if
But
he acts.
I I thought in one it was okay because she was so young. It was like, okay, that's fine. You're crushing on some older guy. Every person probably does that. You know, you have that high school, elementary school, middle school crush on your professor or some older man or woman, whomever. But then,
Right.
like, as it continued to happen in the movies, it just got creepy. It's like, okay, now you're like 20 something. This is
Well, because now it's like they could act upon it,
well,
right?
that's why
Like,
it got creepy. I was like, mm-mm.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I think they were trying to tell kind of keep the joke going, and maybe it fell a little flat. So I can see your point there. Definitely in the second one, I probably would have stayed away from that joke. Um, but look,
And they had it in the fourth one.
yeah, look, there's a million. Like I said, there's a million Christmas movies you can choose from, and I feel
There's
like
no wrong answer.
there's no wrong
Case in point,
answer, but
Love
there are
Actually
only
will never, ever be on my list because I just didn't like the movie. It's a me
but
thing.
they're also boring ideas. Look, there's not bad ones. There's not bad movie suggestions. They're just boring ones. And look,
Look, I
do
chose
I
the
want
original. It's
to?
a Wonderful Life.
Yeah, I mean, do I want to sit down and watch Miracle on 34th Street? No,
Which one?
I
The
don't.
original or the remake?
Yeah. What? Yeah,
Oh,
thanks. You screwed
ruined
up my
it.
recording.
Womp 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 womp.
Sorry. Okay. But look, I mean, like I said, do I want to sit down and watch those boring movies? Probably
Again,
not. And if I
you
had
know what we
kids,
didn't
would
pick?
I want to
Hallmark
bore
movies.
but would I would have want to bore them to death watching Miracle on 34th Street or even It's a Wonderful Life? I remember
Well,
being bored of those when I was a kid. I watched them because it was a Christmas tradition, but would I go back to them now? Probably not, because we are also children of 80s and early 90s comedy,
we didn't even
right?
choose a Christmas Story with the lamp, the
No.
famous leg lamp. There you go.
Right. I mean, I think that if you went totally 100% traditional Christmas movies, that's probably number one, right? You'll shoot your eye out, Ralphie. And I mean, TBS and TNT have done a very good job of doing a Christmas Carol marathons for a week, right?
Oh God, a week maybe.
Yeah.
Try like the whole
Yeah.
month.
Right. So, I mean, playing back to back to back to back along with the infomercials late at night. So, I mean, look, these are our picks. If you have any that you want to interject on, hit us up, let us know. But like I said, this is what we're going with. This is what, if someone said, give me your top
So
5
what
that
we
I can
like,
watch.
you don't have to agree.
Right. But also, too, if someone said, hey, I want to watch 5 movies today on Christmas Day, give me 5 movies instead of watching the NBA, I would hand you 5 DVDs, 5 Blu-rays of these movies. This is
One
what
would be
I
a double
would
feature of
suggest.
Die Hard and Trading Places. Be
Right.
double-sided disc. You got to flip it over.
Yeah, this is what I would suggest to you. This is what Dustin would suggest to you. But anyway, hit us up. Let us know. If you're not watching us on YouTube, listening to us on Google Podcasts, on Spotify, thank you so much. We'll hit you up next week. We're going to keep doing movies. We'll talk some sports. It was just a slow sports week, but we will get back with you
COVID
soon.
rules sports. There, we covered it.
Exactly. COVID killed sports. All right. I'm DJ. That's Dustin. We out. Peace.
Peace.